We're doing an interview. Now it's broken. Everything is ruined. I have to go.
Sorry. I come too.
It is.
Okay. Why do you come in here and bother us?
I don't know.
You're gonna meet the final product.
It's going good. Okay, stop. I'm just kidding. Okay. Well, just for the record, I'm from Oakland, California, which is on the other side of the bay. But some of the members, when it first started in 1984, were from San Francisco. Lee Altus, Carl Sacco, Jim Sanguinetti, and Sam Kress. That was the beginning of Heathen. That was basically a garage band. And then they did one show at the Mabuhay Gardens, and then Sam decided to do an altar sacrifice of some kind and had a fire and set the fire, and then they had to put the fire out, and then they could never play there again for a long time. But in 1986, Doug Piercy and I and Eric Wong joined with Lee and Carl Sacco to form what would be Heathen and the first record. I think he's bringing me wine. Thank you. We have to let him in. White wine. That's right. Let me see. Oh, so go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, so yeah, 1986, and then the record came out in 87, first record, Breaking the Silence. And then we got a new drummer, Darren Mentor. Mike Yashkrimsky had come into the band before Breaking the Silence, and then left before Victims. And then we did Victims with no bass player. We basically had Mark Biederman from Blind Illusion come in and play bass on that record. So, anyway. Well, all the different labels. I don't really care for all the labels. If people ask me, I feel like we're a heavy metal band, and we try to go beyond the barriers of that by doing different things with the music. We try to do things that are beautiful. If it's a ballad or whatever, we can be heavy, we can be fast, we can take it down a notch, we can take it slow, like in the song Opiate of the Masses off of Victims of Deception. That's more of a slower song, but with the heavy riffs. And then there's some fast stuff. So we try to move around. So some people call us thrash metal, speed metal. I just consider us a heavy metal band. It goes way back. For me, is the Beatles. Yeah, Beatles, because I'm a child of the '60s. I was a little kid. I had an older sister that was listening to that kind of music, and so that kind of music was being played in my house. Plus, my parents were listening to oldies like 50s music, like Elvis and Bill Haley and the Comets, Chuck Berry, that kind of thing. But the oldies stuff. So always music's in my house, and jazz music and things like that. So like Count Basie and Jim Krupa, No, it was actually, I think Sam Kress, who was the first singer in the band, and he was writing lyrics. I think he came up with the name. So when I joined, it was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a long time. Well, I'm still here. I'm still alive. It's been it's an old adage, but it's been a long, strange trip. I honestly didn't think I would still be doing this kind of thing at my age now. I'm getting older, and but I feel great, and the band is fresh. The new record has a fresh sound to it, but it's still grounded in what we've done. So, I feel great. I feel like the band is busier than it's ever been before. Well, I think so. I think that there's a lot of old school fans that love like the first record, Breaking the Silence, and maybe don't love the new record so much. Some like it, but it's all our records have all been a little different, but we've always sort of evolved from each one, and we would hope to keep doing that. And I think with the last two records, I think they're current. And yet, you know what I mean? So the younger crowd can listen to that and go, they don't know our history. They just get turned on to that record. I think that it falls right into place where it needs to be. Well, I think that we've been generous in the sense that the stuff that we've done has been quality. And from Victims to Evolution, those two records, the songs are longer. We spent a lot of time with those arrangements, but we also learned from those records for Empire that we want to cut to the chase and tighten up those arrangements. Long songs are great, but nowadays people have a short attention span. But also just just to get back to the songwriting where you pull that in, you can pull those riffs in without having to drag them on. So I think that we're just, like I said, we're always evolving and changing and moving things around. Maybe someday we'll do another record and be one long song, but I doubt that very much. Well, I think the concept is just, it's basically, coming off of all the other records, and we try to sort of write what's going on. It could be political, social, all that. I think my Evolution was a little bit more political in the sense that there were certain things that were definitely prophetic. That, like Dying Season, that song I wrote because I felt like I wanted to write something, talking about how I felt like the way we fight war now, that we're still fighting wars, is very archaic, and it just shows how humankind has not evolved as much as we think, and that we're still killing each other, and a lot of things that like controlled by chaos, we see in the last not this last administration, but the administration before, where the political landscape was just complete chaos and misinformation, but I wrote that stuff before 2010 and coming into 2010, and then all of a sudden later on it's starting to happen. And then I think with the new record, and Cragen wrote the new record with Empire of the Blind, and I think he took a step further to where we've been so affected by social media and all of that, to where it's really shaping where we are these days, where the kids are completely glued to their phones and they're reading all this information. You don't even know what is real anymore. And so it's basically, sort of the fall of the empire, you know what I mean? And how, man is just destroying everything. And it's just gotten to this breaking point. And, where we're going with the next record is going to be really interesting. It's already written now, but we'll see how that sort of manifests itself, moving forward. But on Empire of the Blind, there was a lot of disconnect because Lee Altus, who's my main writing partner for Heathen, he joined Exodus in 2005, and it was a struggle to get the things done for the Evolution of Chaos. And Cragen had just joined the band, so he contributed to the writing. Our bass player John Torres at the time wrote a song, actually two songs for the record. I wrote lyrics for one of them, but then Gary Holt left, didn't leave, but was busy filling in for Slayer. So they asked Cragen to fill in with Exodus so that they could keep that train moving. Well, consequently, Heathen is sort of like at a standstill, and we're sitting on a record deal with Nuclear Blast, and we don't have guitar players to do anything. But Cragen was writing the whole time, and time went by. It was a lot of time, and he ended up having a lot of material where Lee didn't have anything finished for the new record. When it came time to like, look, we have to get in the studio and do this album now. It's been too long. And so Cragen had enough material, and he had music and lyrics, and it was like, well, we could spend time writing more, and I could write more, or whatever, or we can take everything that he has, which was really great, and do a record. And so that's what we did. Absolutely. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean,
Were you able to tour?
not until 2022, because the record was done. We finished the record, recording the record in 2019, the end of 19, and then it was scheduled to come out June 19th, and we had a whole tour booked, starting in April, and June 19th, it would have been our second leg of that tour, and we would have played. It was the first show on that second leg was at Graspop in Belgium, and that would have been the release date. But all that went away. So we had to cancel everything, and there was no touring, and there was no festivals, nothing. But they pushed the release to September, and came out, and we just had to hope that, but everybody, luckily though, everybody was sort of kept inside a lot. And the ones, sort of savior through all that for most people's mental health was music. And thankfully, people gravitated to the Empire of the Blind record, and the record did really well. But we just had to wait and see what was going to happen when the world was going to open back up again. And 2022, it was still kind of, okay, what are we going to do? But we started making plans to see if it was going to happen. But even then, getting ready, there was all kinds of restrictions. You had to get the vaccine to travel and all that stuff. And some people didn't want to do that. So that made it very challenging for a lot of groups, and we were one of them. And so, but we pushed through, and we went out on the road. We took Toxic out the first month of the summer in June. We did a month, and then we came home for a couple weeks, and then we went out with Exodus and Testament and did 6 weeks in Europe in 2022. Then we came home, went to South America, came home, did an American tour, West Coast. Then we came home, then we went to Japan, Thailand, Singapore, Australia. Yeah, we did over 80 shows that year. Well, we've been touring since the first week of August. We actually, we went to Dubai. We played in Dubai, and then we flew to Bahrain, did a show there, and then we flew to Czech and did Brutal Assault, and that started the European part of it. We did Alcatraz the very next day, Belgium, yeah, and then we went to Germany, did a bunch of shows. Denmark, and then we went to Finland for the first time. We did 2 shows in Finland. One was a festival and one was a club show in Helsinki, and then came back, and then we're just in Austria. We did a couple more German shows, and then we went to Austria, and then we flew here. I just know it's going to come out next year. Hopefully sooner than later. Everything's written already pretty much. Now we just have to get in the studio and start recording. Yeah. So far it's great. And we just got we've been here for about 2 hours, and we had a long drive.
No time for sightseeing yet.
No, but we have the day off tomorrow, and we get to hang out, and it's really beautiful. It was a beautiful drive through France, and we're gonna be here for a day and tomorrow, and then we fly back to Barcelona, and we have 6 shows in Spain, and then we fly home. Yeah.
Retrouvez toute l'actu du rock et du métal, l'agenda culturel, les dates de concerts, les sorties d'albums, les live reports, les chroniques sur ultrarock.fr.